Welcome Megan Howell to the Manifest Enlightenment and Soar show with host Kipling Sanders. Thank you for taking your time. I know you're very busy. I know you've done a lot of philanthropic work for the community. Welcome Megan Howell to the Manifest Enlightenment and Soar show with host Kipling Sanders. Thank you for taking your time. I know you're very busy. I know you've done a lot of philanthropic work for the community and helping the community, basically get homeless people and home them, put them in under a roof. And so that's miraculous. First of all, congratulations on that. Congratulations on having that heart, that compassion, that love that we need in the planet, in the world, trying to help the community and people in need. I have a strong desire to help people in need too. And with people like us and other people serving the community, it really helps out. What I would like to do actually is spread out this example in Sarasota and then spread it outward toward America, toward the world. So,
Me too.
Huh?
Me too.
Yeah, okay. What inspired you to create Second Heart Homes?
Well, first of all, it's really exciting to meet you in person formally, and you do some wonderful things, and thank you for shining a light on what's happening in our community, because without awareness, then us and others are the best kept secrets, right?
Yeah.
And so it's really important what you're doing for the community, because it's about the tapestry working together, right?
Right.
And so what inspired me was, I was homeless when I was 4 years old with my mother and autistic brother. I don't remember much about it, but we left a domestic violence situation, and I think about the strength that my mother must have had. So I wouldn't say that was the triggering moment, but it does make me think of the power of strength and tenacity, right? Which my mother certainly had, and continues to have.
Yeah.
And
Good.
so just kind of keeping that in mind, growing up with my older autistic brother, but being his younger sister, and learning how to teach him differently and support him. If he wasn't understanding something immediately, then I had to think of different ways to teach him, and maybe several different times. I think it's always within the teacher when someone isn't understanding something. And it taught me a lot of patience and how to observe, right?
Right.
And I think the key to life is being curious.
Yeah.
Right? Got in a lot of good trouble by being curious.
Yeah.
In fact, Second Heart Homes was started from being curious.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
I've worked in memory care of Alzheimer's and dementia. I've worked at music festivals, helping people who were having a difficult psychedelic experience, so they didn't get arrested or Baker acted in a different state. They needed care and support in that moment. And someone not to dismiss their reality, right? Because for them it's very real.
Right.
And just to kind of be that soft, calm, stable piece of reality until they could get rehomed with their friends and whatever else happened. So then I became a waitress at a local restaurant called Patrick's.
Okay.
And there I got to meet a lot of wonderful people.
Sure.
And one of them being a homeless man that lived on the sidewalk outside of the restaurant. And he was making these drawings, and I was curious.
Yeah.
So I sat down on the sidewalk with him because I wanted to know, what are you drawing? Tell me more. And they were very abstract, very Juan Moreau, I had no clue, but he did.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that when we had this conversation that we could talk like this, because many people were constantly looking down upon him, whether they meant him well or not, right?
Right.
And what that does to the human psyche over time, right? When people don't say your name, when they don't acknowledge you, right? When they
Self-esteem.
physically look down upon you because they think they understand your socioeconomic status immediately. And maybe they're right, but anyways, I sat down on the sidewalk with him and I said, "What are you drawing? Tell me more." And he kind of threw it back. He said, "Well, what do you think?" I said, "Oh, well, I wasn't expecting that."
Yeah.
and then he told me so much more. He started telling me about his life and his beliefs, and some are very complicated that I can either confirm or deny. Maybe he is a missing Kennedy baby, like, I don't know. And what difference did it make to our relationship and what we were talking about? So I never dismissed his version of reality. And I started spending a lot of time with him. Every day that I went into work, I went in early, so I had time to sit with him because it wasn't just like, "Hey man, how's it going? Peace out." He wanted to have a conversation. He had been homeless for 25 years. He used to be a professor in upstate New York in creative writing and college prep. So
I love that stuff.
yeah, and philosophy, and he was so knowledgeable about these really deep subjects that I wasn't really expecting this man cleaning his toes on the street corner to be talking about. And it was so refreshing and gratifying to be able to have these deep conversations on the street corner.
Yeah.
So then I was his friend for 8 years. Every day I'd see him when I worked, and sometimes more. Sometimes I'd go in on my day off or chat with him.
Beautiful.
And he was suffering from schizophrenia. And then one day he went missing, and I just knew something was wrong. Like that was it. So I remembered his real name. I had learned it one time and never used it with him. But I checked the jail and he wasn't there, and I found him at the hospital where he suffered a medical emergency that almost took his life. So I'm standing there in his hospital room, like I had no clue what to do. I said, "What are your discharge plans?" And he told me, he said, "I'm ready to get off the streets." We had never talked about his homelessness ever because he had other things he wanted to talk about.
Right.
And I thought, it's pretty clear where he's at. We don't need to talk about that.
Right.
But I knew there, seeing him, lying there just, emaciated, jaundiced, just a shadow of the man he once was, that I was there to help him.
Yeah.
And, my higher power had placed me in that situation, even though at the time, like, a bit confusing, a big leap of faith, right? And so he had an open case. He told me to get in touch with his public defender to alert the courts so they didn't issue a warrant. Then I ended up getting in touch with family who didn't quite understand his situation, but I became the advocate and the moderator, basically, to act upon things that were in his best interest. I got him into a skilled nursing facility to learn how to walk again, and got it funded.
Yeah.
And
Good for you.
yeah, the social worker told me that it was a waste of my time, their time, and his time because he was a flight risk. I said, "You don't know what it took to get here." And I love how the solution lies in the problem if you look close enough, oftentimes. So I said, "Well, if he's a flight risk, then maybe I'll come see him every day, and maybe that'll be enough." So every day he was still there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I cried, and he'd be like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "You're still here, it's good." So imagine being homeless for 25 years, being able to light up a cigarette whenever you want, to suddenly you're in a clean, white, sterile medical environment, and you can't walk. You are vulnerable. People are poking and prodding you and testing you, and no one really wants to be in that scenario at all, especially, going from that stark contrast.
Right.
So, but he trusted me and enough to stay, and I trusted him to stay too. It was a mutual thing.
Sure.
And he would give me these drawings all along the way as tokens of thank you. So I have about 3,000 of them.
Oh wow! Awesome!
Very cool.
Awesome!
I'll show you one later.
Yeah, great.
And then when he was healed up and going to be discharged to the streets, I had gotten my foot in the housing door by becoming a volunteer property manager of a 110-unit apartment complex.
Wow.
Mainly cleaning rooms and, preparing them for, when someone was going to move in.
Sure,
It's
sure.
very low income and, learning all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked the landlord, I said, I have a gentleman that's not without their problems.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a miracle and I believe in them,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll make sure you get your money. I'll make sure that they have help. I'll coordinate their medical care, help them clean, get them groceries, help them learn how to, be independent. And if there's an issue, it's mine before it's yours, and that's cool, right? He said, so you want to do something nice, make sure we get paid and take all the liability? I said, yeah. Have at it.
Yeah.
Then,
wonderful. Eureka.
exactly. So I knew if that was the impossible, this man literally falling through the cracks in the sidewalk for 25 years. He
Yeah.
actually had money, he had a trust, but
Yeah.
no amount of money is going to supersede a 25-year gap in rental history.
Right.
You need an advocate.
Right.
And you need, someone to help you take that leap of faith. He never could have ever dreamt that. Maybe at a fever dream, but.
Right.
And so I just knew if that was impossible, then this is there's more.
Yeah. I got you hungry.
Yeah, it did.
Good.
This was supposed to be the most impossible. Imagine how many people tried to help him over 25 years.
Yeah.
Right, and how many stuck, didn't. Clearly they didn't.
Yeah.
And no fault to them, right? But so I started up an LLC and started subleasing apartments all over the community,
Mhm.
running the same model while
Sure.
working 3 other jobs,
Yeah.
running myself ragged. But that's
God
what.
bless you. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, just
Yeah.
taking the time to care for another human being in the way is a natural act of love and kindness, and that's something that I'm acknowledging you for, and that's very precious and very wonderful and beautiful. I wish a lot of other people or more people were giving or had the ability to just open up a LLC and then make it into a big, organization.
Yeah, it was definitely spawned out of love and a leap of faith.
Yeah.
And then I met my business mentor, someone who was trying to help, but was just kind of hitting some brick walls.
Mm-hmm.
And looked at my mom and said, this is great, but he's a big businessman, very successful, started up sports stadiums, was
Mhm.
responsible for 85% of the sports stadiums in the United
Wow.
States.
Yeah.
Was a senior partner with a big CPA firm. And he came in and said, this is wonderful. How do we make it sustainable and help more people? I'm like, that's what I'm thinking. Help me. I'm a waitress. I'm going to college and teaching origami in the school, doing all this, responding, here and there, and mediating between residents and landlords and whatever needs to happen within their benefit.
Right.
So then we met with many other nonprofits and talked about, and foundations, and
Mhm.
talked about the pros and the cons of opening
Okay.
a nonprofit,
Right.
because it was kind of being funded out of my pocket.
Mhm.
And so we determined that was the right business plan to take on, and we got our nonprofit in late 2019 and officially started by shutting down the LLC.
Congratulations. Yes.
Yay! Officially started by shutting down the LLC on January 1st of 2020,
Okay.
which is one heck of a time to open a nonprofit.
Right.
Yes.
Right. 2020.
Yeah. And then we had a supporter who changed everything. He was going to buy a home and rent it to us for like 35 years,
Mhm.
right? So we didn't have to worry about the unstableness of the housing market, and because I was constantly begging landlords, like, 1 more month. No one's going to give our residents a year lease, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have a year lease.
Mm-hmm.
And so I needed that stability
Mm-hmm.
for them,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And someone was going to buy a house, rent it to us for 35 years, knowing that, hey, you know, we're running the show, just buy the house and it'll be good. And then a week away from closing, COVID hit, right? And so they said, I don't know what's going to happen with my company, but you know, all the inspections, everything was done.
Right.
And they said, if you can figure out the financing, keep the earnest money, keep it all, buy the house. So, okay.
Yeah. Nice.
Started raising money.
Very
and
nice.
bought the home, suddenly had an asset. And I was like, oh, wow, this is much better. Okay.
Yeah.
Then started strategically reducing the rentals all over town, and you know, moving people into houses. So I will fast forward a little bit. Now we're about to open our 10th home.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
impressive. That's really capitalizing from one house to 10?
Yes.
Double digits.
Yeah, 10 is a special number too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, bravo.
Congratulations.
Thanks to our wonderful team that makes it happen.
Yeah.
So we have 10 homes. We have, well, once this 10th home is open, we're going to have 62 beds.
Okay.
So think about that, 62 people who would be suffering on the street, right? And you have to have a mental health condition to be in our program, right? So these are people who are very vulnerable, who need help and support and quite honestly love, right?
Yeah.
And we have a full-time team of 7. I met a couple real quick. We've got about 35 very solid volunteers, but we have an excellent volunteer program. It's low barrier, because we love someone who's just, you know, Chuck Palahniuk would call it a single serving volunteer. If someone wants to just come in and hang blinds and we never see you again, fine, we love you. We love you for that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Totally.
So it's not like a super long-term commitment, which I think is important when you're offering volunteer opportunities. And so kind of our model is our residents are seen every single day, but we don't live on the properties. They have a lot of independence, but we show them how to live again, maybe for the first time, right? We show people that they're loved. Give them accountability. Maybe they've never had accountability. Maybe they've never had a support system. Maybe they don't know what that looks like. I'm very proud to say we do a lot of things that engage our residents in the community, like the Sarasota Ballet donates tickets, and it just crushes me when people are saying, you know, their problem is, what am I going to wear to the ballet, instead of where am I going to lay my head? Like, what a great dichotomy of problems to have. And we help them get IDs, their birth certificates, employment if they're able to work. Not everybody is able to. We help with learning different skill sets, budgeting, time management, right? You know, you go from kind of, whoa, everything's a whirlwind, to, all right, now you can kind of calm down and enjoy your time and build yourself and enjoy the people around you and what life has to offer. Sobriety, you know, hobbies, and just, we look at everybody like from an individual standpoint. What are their individualistic needs? Yes, we have a whole triage of services that, you know, someone gets when they come in. If they don't have a primary care physician, we're working on getting them a primary care physician.
So sweet.
Yeah. If they need help navigating insurance, we help with that. Right? You know, help them learn how to take the bus to go pick up their medication. We don't offer any medical services, but, you know, we offer how to get people to be as independent as they possibly can, so that they have their own dignity and self-worth. And so they're coming off the streets, they're starting to address their mental health and, you know, the conditions they have, and start living their lives, you know, being these wonderful beings of light. I like to say that they're just little fallen angels, and we help pick them up.
Transformational.
Yes.
That's beautiful. So I think it's wonderful how you not only just put people in under a roof, but you train them to become self-reliant, and to help them with their weaknesses, whether it be medication, whether it be job, whether it be you know, time management and learning when to do something, when not to do something. Because a lot of people, I struggle with time management myself. So it's definitely a wonderful, wonderful thing that you've done. And it's really outstanding to know that there's a lot of love put into it as well. Opposed to just getting people into houses, there's a lot of philanthropic, heartfelt, genuine compassion. And that's a lot of what you carry and who you are. And so I see that, and that's a beautiful gift. It's a beautiful gift.
Oh, thank you. Well, it gets reflected right back. You know, you see these individuals and you're like, this is somebody's child,
Yeah.
right? And that's really powerful. And children are born pure and innocent.
Yeah.
And then the world
Right,
happens.
Right.
And I'm not a judge. You know, one of our board members.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you see the king within someone else, right? And see it as somebody's child and, you know, how to help them. And ultimately, it helps the community. The community suffers when people are homeless. Businesses suffer. Tourism suffers. Neighborhoods, property values, you know, I can expand and expand and expand. When you're homeless, you're seeking crisis medical services. You're not going in to see a primary care and, you know, just, you know, it's supposed to be normal that you go in and not have like a whole battery of things to do with your doctor or just, you know, in the moment ambulance care. You know, that's traumatic in its own. So becoming independent with your physical health, your mental health, and learning healthy habits and hobbies, and having a beautiful home. I mean, we have a lot of wonderful supporters like Lowe's. They donate all the blinds to all of our homes, and sometimes ceiling fans and washers and dryers sometimes, depends on what they have. We love Lowe's. We love Benjamin Moore, Lowe's and Benjamin Moore.
Thanks, Lowe's. Thanks, Benjamin Moore.
Yes. Sarasota Paint Store, our wonderful volunteers. You know, it's the
So
soul
they just donate their
tapestry.
stuff.
Yeah, well, they'll call us up. Lowe's actually called me one day. We had just bought 2 duplexes. So it was 8 bedrooms, 4 kitchens, 4 laundry rooms, 4 bathrooms, 4 living rooms.
Yeah.
And it all needed to be remodeled. And so there's a whole lot to that. I've learned how to be kind of a contractor. And I love our handyman volunteers.
Yeah.
We love them so
Great.
much.
Great.
Lowe's called me on a Saturday, and this gentleman, Dan, we love Dan, he said, wow, I wasn't expecting somebody to answer the phone on a Saturday. I said, well, here I am. How can I help you, sir? He said, I heard about what you're doing. You know, maybe there's something I can do to help. You know, when's the soonest I can come in?
Nice.
I said, well, when can you come in? He said, 8 a.m. tomorrow. I said, I will be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there at 7:45.
Wonderful.
He came in, started saying, let's replace this, let's do that, keyless door codes, change the fans, glass top stove ranges, things we never would have dreamed of. About $20,000 worth of product.
Yeah.
I'm like, they called us.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's huge. I mean,
Yes.
that just shows how when you're doing something in the community or when you're helping in the community, how other people can recognize it. And honestly, that's part of the reason why I'm doing these shows, so people can recognize the fact that other people are working hard trying to help people in need and also network. And if there's anyone who does want to help or donate, you're more than welcome to.
The V word, volunteer.
For a better cause, for a better world, for a better work, for a better earth, and a better planet.
I just want to mention
Oh, yeah.
what our financial structure is.
Yeah, the financial structure.
So we don't take any government funds
Okay.
at all. And so we rely on individual contributions and private sector funding like independent foundations and churches, things like that, special interest groups. So that's a thing that sets us apart from a lot of nonprofits.
Yeah.
And why we do that is, A, we found a way to do it without relying on those types of funds. So it's a mark of success on our point. B, that type of funding can be very fickle. It might be available one year and then suddenly it isn't, and you have to
Right.
figure out, how do I change my whole development plan to raise $2 million, right? And it allows that financial resource to be available for the organizations that do need it.
Right.
And we make sure that we are always aligned with our values and our mission, and we want to make sure that we can serve it in the capacity that we are confident in.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are sometimes accepting those dollars, you could spend your time maybe in some areas that you aren't so competent in, just to check a box. And we want to focus, seeing people regularly, giving accountability, loving them, meeting them where they're at, and finding the best quality of life for them.
Yeah, phenomenal. So you established this in
2019.
2019 you established it. So I was going to ask, did you have a vision, a dream, awakening when you came up with the idea? You pretty much told me about that, but if you want to elaborate.
The gentleman on the sidewalk
Yeah.
was really the inspiration.
Yeah.
I didn't mention that today he's a homeowner outside of
All
our
right.
program, so he's
Yeah,
doing better than
congratulations. Congratulations
he's doing better than I am.
to you. Yeah.
I love him. And so it just shows, that's one end of the spectrum of what's possible.
Sure.
We're also not saying, hey, 18 months and get out of here, you're going to be a homeowner. We know everyone's at different levels.
Yeah.
But that just shows the spectrum of what can be possible.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's always something to strive to. So, yeah, he's the spark. I think about him all the time. And I see him from time to time. He's a retired artist now. Mm-hmm. And he charges me for drawings now. Which I'm like, he knows his worth.
Yeah.
All right? So he's a good salesman. I like that.
Yes.
So they're quite nice, and I appreciate them. So,
Good.
yeah.
Awesome. How did you gather resources for the development of the nonprofit organization?
Okay, for the development of our organization, it was really founded upon networking. Saying hello to people. At the lowest level, or highest, however you want to look at it, I said hello to that man on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And I didn't have to.
Park slope or park bench.
Mm-hmm.
We're all the same.
Exactly. And, just meeting different people. Like one of my regular customers at Patrick's asked, hey, what do you do in your spare time? I said, sit down, let me tell you.
Yeah.
You need like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I told him, and that's how I got introduced to my mentor. He said, wow, that's so incredible. I had no idea you were doing that. Mm-hmm. My friend's hitting some roadblocks. Can he come meet you sometime?
Yeah.
And he came into Patrick's one Sunday evening with this business card. And I said, hi, I'm David, and I'd like to talk. I remember I looked at that business card, and I thought, this is kind of flimsy thing. And I couldn't find him online, and I thought, it's kind of frustrating. I'm like, who can I research online?
Right.
But it just goes to show you never know who you're talking to.
Right.
Right? You never know. And so that man on the sidewalk changed my life, and many others, quite honestly. But networking, staying curious, right? And asking a lot of questions. And I would show up into different problem-solving courts that had nothing to do with what I was doing, but I wanted to see how does the court system work and benefit to what I'm doing, or not.
Interesting. So you put yourself out there to do the research, and to do all the odds and ends and get the angles, so you can have the most competitive advantage.
Absolutely.
Smart.
Talk to anybody who will give me a millisecond of the time of day.
Yeah.
So
my mom, she founded the nonprofit organization for Lemur Conservation Foundation. So she's a lot like you, where she's just like, anyone who wants to listen, I'm here to talk, and who knows what's possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many wonderful people I've been able to meet, and I go to different events all the time, whether I know what it is or not. Just have an open mind to learn something, meet someone, try to combine forces, or just appreciate being in the moment.
Sure,
too.
Absolutely, 100%. So how many houses have you opened total? I think
it will be 10 in March.
10.
So we're working on that actively right now. That's where I just came from. So again, that's 62 beds across 2 counties,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
It's
this
gotta
is
feel
just
good. It's got to feel good.
It does. When I get to see them, I took a gentleman to get his hair cut recently.
Mm-hmm.
He asked for one, and for me to specifically take him. I said, okay. So I took him this past Saturday, and I don't quite always know everything about our residents to the degree that our care managers do because of just how we've grown, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I look at that as, well, my own little Make-A-Wish Foundation and my opportunity to get to know them on a deeper level because I'm not providing the day-to-day care.
Mm-hmm.
So having small talk with him, and it got to a point where I said, how long have you been homeless? And he said, all my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa, what do you mean by that? And he said, my mom didn't want me, and I've just bounced around everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, it's been so long since I've had a haircut, and that anyone's asked me these questions. He's 59, he's been homeless his whole life.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. And then I said, we're gonna go out to lunch afterwards, and he said, well, I can't really eat anything because he's getting all his teeth pulled and ready for teeth dentures.
Sure.
And so I said, oh, just have a smoothie, you'll be good. And he didn't know what a smoothie was. Had never had one. I said, well, you're gonna have a really good one now. But for him, that was really a simple joy that
Yeah.
and for me to see that perspective, right?
Yes,
And
yes, indeed.
yeah, do you know what a glimmer is?
Yeah. A glimmer is a hope, right?
It is.
A chance, an opportunity, a sparkle of reaching a new height,
Exactly.
or reaching a pinnacle or a summit.
It's the opposite of a trigger, right? And it's a little micro moment of hope. And we get these glimmers everywhere, and understanding someone's existence in that moment, and then watching him enjoy a smoothie, like that's a glimmer. And
It is. It's so
know,
beautiful. That's such a gift.
it
You
is.
have a very sensitive, compassionate heart, and I love the fact that just genuine seeing people happy or bringing joy to someone's life melts you.
Oh,
And
crushes
that's
me.
just, yeah, and that's just a philanthropic, soul who wants to love on the world, help the world, and that's exactly what you've done. Like technically and literally and physically, through developing second heart homes, establishing 10 houses, 62 beds, and then taking people out for a haircut and then buying them a smoothie, and just seeing the sheer pleasure of someone having a smoothie who wouldn't have a smoothie otherwise. I mean, that touches my soul in a lot of ways. That's really, really giving and loving and nurturing, and we need more people like you in our planet.
Well, we're creating them
Yeah.
one by one.
Exactly. Excellent work, Megan Howell, for helping the city, community, and giving back. What a good example to follow in helping people in the most delivering way. A roof over a person's head when it wouldn't be there otherwise. How do you feel that you've provided so many pathways for many people? And it's not just a pathway, we realize, I've come to discover, it's not just a pathway from getting off the street into a house, but it's a pathway from going off the street into the house, developing some self-care, some self-value, learning tangibilities of life and how to live and how to care for yourself, how to love yourself, how to nurture yourself, and become independently responsible at the same time, all in one. So that's a really good program, and I support your program.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll spread the word.
Yes, thank you.
Where can homeless people or anyone find information out about Second Heart Homes? Is there a phone number? Is there a website?
Yeah, so the best way to get in touch with us if you're looking to seek our services or be a part of the solution and help donate is our website, secondhearthomes.org. That's SECOND Heart, HEART Homes, HOMES.org. And that's the best place to start because we, have different departments. So, but give us a call or email and let us know what you need or how you want to help. And we're so happy to answer that and support or advocate and share.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And then please like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And I challenge everybody, tell a friend. That's how word really spreads, and that's helpful too. You may not be able to make a donation or volunteer or, be a case manager, but what you can do is tell a friend, and when you're passing by somebody on the sidewalk, just smile. You're not going to sign up to be their case manager. I might, but you probably won't. Just smile. Know that everybody's human. And, you don't have to give money, none of these things. If you're going to give money, I suggest you give money to the organizations that are helping. But just smile.
Yeah, that's an important message. Something one of my mottos is, and one of my mantra quotes is, just hold the door open for the person behind you. Hold the door open.
That part.
Tip your cap, nod your head, or just smile. Whether it's a stranger, a homeless individual, or a executive of a business, a CEO of a business. Still, I believe in that all people should be treated equally and with love and kindness and respect. And so that tip of a cap might go a long way. It might just make their week or make their day.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with that more. When you smile, say hello, nod, just acknowledge a presence of being. It does a whole lot.
Yeah. I've seen that in Sarasota a lot recently. Just everyone going into a Wawa or going into a store, they're waiting for the person to get to the door so they can hold the door open for them.
Yeah.
Instead of going in. So I see that all the time. It's this wonderful, positive light that's developing of, people just thinking about people in a little more compassionate way, rather than thinking about themselves or thinking about what, selfish needs or how can they, instigate or hurt that person, because there's a lot of negativity out there too that likes to torment and disrupt the peace or the comfort or people who have peace and comfort in their lives. So it's important to be out of yourself, go that extra mile, and smile. Can it be attained as a community, a nation, or globally? If so, how do you see it happening?
So, as far as second homes
Yeah.
or just peace? Oh,
Second Start Homes.
well, we plan on scaling our model and empowering other communities to learn what we've learned, right?
Mhm.
And be able to analyze their problem and help itself. So more to come on that.
Yeah.
But it's the worst action you can take is no action.
Right. The worst action is inaction. So now we're jumping to a new topic. I discuss this topic with all my guests on my show. The topic of peace. Do you think there could be world peace somehow?
Oh, world peace is a heavy subject, right?
Especially in these times.
Yeah, I think peace is a state of mind, and I think we're more poised, the world is more poised to be in that state of mind than ever before. So, gosh, that's such a hard question. Ultimately, I believe it. What peace looks like, I think you have to look within and find that, because there is so much chaos, and I don't think everything's going to flatten out and be kumbaya across the board. So I think there can be pockets of peace and synchronized peace. So I think we should just never give up on trying to achieve that. We have to at least achieve it within ourselves to have it unilaterally. That's hard to say. I'm going to say it a different way. We have to achieve peace within ourselves to experience it together. So we have to focus on what we can do individually to be cooperative.
Sure. Like the best version of yourself to present the best version of yourself to the next person. And if everyone's the best version of themselves in a positive way, there'll be a more positive vibration, a higher vibration of light and love.
Well said.
Thank you. There are many forms of peace, like comfort, inner peace, peace of environment, peace between people, chemistry. What are key factors for you in terms of peace, mental, spiritual, or physical?
Okay. So key factors of peace in my life, I have a heavy job. There's a lot of things to do. There's always things to do, and everybody's busy, right? But I feel like I have a lot of things at stake. When you've created something, when you're trying to maintain and sustain and grow something, and when people are involved with it at the end of the day, there's a lot of risk, right? A lot of people don't want to let down. And so the broader sense of that is staying curious, experiencing things, asking questions, that kind of fills my cup. And I have a lot of small hobbies, and I love to travel. I've spent a lot of solo time out in Japan. I actually did my master's thesis on homelessness and mental illness, and lived on the streets with a homeless man that thought I was Cyndi Lauper. You gotta have humor.
Yeah.
I'm working on 2 books right now. One called, thank you, I know it's kind of scary, but I'm liking the process.
Yeah.
And I have some friends that are helping, that are writers, that are, teaching me about the process, which I really enjoy. Shout out to Bubba.
Yeah.
Love him. And I'm uncovering a lot of cool things, and I think that that's very therapeutic and provides balance. Balance is what it's all about. So
Sure, absolutely, I agree with that. The the polarity, duality, yin yang, just finding that comfort within yourself, or bringing that comfort to a team or to a business. I think that'll be very important in these times.
you have to protect your energy and fill your cup.
Right.
Like that's huge, because
Definitely.
there's a lot of sadness in this world too, and there are a lot of people I can't help,
Right.
and that is important to realize too, and know when you have to kind of guard your energy and go refill your cup.
Right, that's true too.
Mhm.
I can always work on that, and I'm learning as I go along day by day.
We all are.
Can we spread the message of ending homelessness and bringing peace to the community together here now?
Well, we live in a capitalistic society, so I don't know if homelessness will ever be ended, but we can certainly reduce the amount of people suffering and enhance their quality of life, because through our program and just being kind to people, however you want to look at it, right?
Yeah.
It's giving people dignity, giving people self-worth, engaging them in the community, right? And think about your life like a book, right? You have these different chapters. Maybe you're the main character, but oftentimes not. You're a supporting actor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're given the access and opportunity, that's how you can really turn that page on homelessness.
Right.
Right? And it has to be the individual has to want it too,
Right.
right? Just as much. We can't work harder than our residents are willing to work for themselves. And, sometimes it's sad when it doesn't work out, but we know we gave them the best opportunity and treated them with respect and dignity, and gave a safe place, and, it was essentially a stepping stone and an opportunity to turn that page on homelessness. I think everything's an opportunity, whether you're successful or not. Nothing's for nothing.
Right.
You learn each time.
Yes. Thank you, Megan. I'm actually just joining the board, Sarasota Advisory Board for Ending Homelessness in Sarasota, Suncoast Counties. So I'm trying to help out there, and I was going to join the board or in the police complaint line, but that was full, so I'm joining the board to end homelessness in Suncoast counties.
Oh, Suncoast Partnership to End
So-
Homelessness?
Yes.
So I am on the leadership council there.
Okay.
So we'll probably cross paths
Great.
more often.
Wonderful.
That's
Wonderful.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I've had a desire in my heart just to, make food and go out and give people food. Go out and give them whether it's a hard-boiled egg or, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I could be more proactive about that. I've thought about it a lot, but I just need to go do it.
I'd like to invite you to come see some of our homes sometime and meet
Yeah.
some of our residents and
Sure.
maybe bring some food to them, because
Sure.
it's a
Love
little
to.
bit different once you're in a home. We love to establish tradition,
Yeah.
right? And I'll tell you just one.
Do they celebrate holidays?
Yeah, they choose what they want to. We support it, and everybody gets a cake on their birthday,
Yeah.
because it's like, hey, thank you for existing. And this is a whole new, cycle around the sun. What can you do with that? And we appreciate you for being here. And I always ask, what's your birthday wisdom? Right? What have you learned in the last 365 days marinating around the sun?
Mm.
And I get the most amazing answers, and so genuine, and how to treat other people, and it's so humbling. Like, I
Yeah.
love that, and yeah.
That's wonderful. That's
It is.
wonderful. Thank you, Megan Howell, for what you've done and for the citizens in the street, off the street, into homes, giving them a curriculum, a core value and morale curricular that they can follow and build themselves up to good and stronger citizens in the world and more successful citizens in the world. So I commend you for what you do. It's really wonderful. And thank you for your time and joining me today on Manifest Enlightenment and Soar show. Peace be with you.
Peace be with you. Thank you for this nice privilege.
Yeah, thank you so much.